I am absolutely pumped for today's video because in today's video, I am speaking with Thailand Extraordinaire, Keis. Over the last few years, Adam has built a YouTube channel with over 90,000 subscribers and 150,000 followers across all platforms, and travel vlogging into a $100,000 a year business. And today I've managed to convince Adam to pull back the curtain and give us the secrets to making $10,000 a month on YouTube, so you can live a life of freedom, adventure, and financial abundance. A thumbnail up of an adolescent teen in a red light district. Is there any bit of advice you would give to those people?
Thanks a lot. Oh. Hey.
Just a quick interruption to say, if you see me fanboying, this is because 2 years ago, before I moved to Thailand, I used to watch Adam's vlogs every day. Many people say the first vloggers they watched were Peter McKinnon or Keis. Well, the first vlogger I watched was Adam, and he was a massive inspiration for me launching my own channel. So for me, it was quite surreal to be sitting here getting the gold from the man himself. Okay, where were we?
Adam, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I appreciate it.
It's fun. I'm excited.
So, dude, first thing I wanted to ask you is really around mindset. And for me, I'm a big believer that really any form of success is like 90% mindset, 10% tactics. You know, how to do the thing, you know, anybody can figure out the tactics, what to do. But the mindset is the thing that drives you to do it. And I'm just curious, like, what does your mind operate like? And why have you achieved the level of success that you have? And yeah, what does your mindset look like?
I mean, at the beginning, it was very much like failing wasn't an option. I came here with not much money, like 10,000 Australian dollars. It's just not much at all. Like, that was it. If it didn't work, I was going home to go live with my parents and figure out the next chapter. And like, I really didn't want that.
Yeah.
I have a great relationship with my family and everything, but that was not where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be in Australia. So I really, like, I had no choice. It's like sink or swim. So that made it easy for me to show up to work every day and put in the hours needed and hustle and grind, because it's like, boy, I'm only going to get out what I put in. And if it didn't work out, I wanted to be sitting on that plane going home, knowing that I left nothing on the table.
Yeah.
And that was making a video every day. Who knows if that one day I didn't make a video, that could have been a hit. So came out here, treat it like starting a business. You know, you start a business, it's a 7-day-a-week job. So the mindset was, at the beginning, was very much, yeah, give it everything you have. So then if it fails, I probably would have been okay. Like, I would have been like, well, I tried my best, and that's just not meant for me. Nowadays, the mindset is keep growing, keep improving. I don't want to become complacent. I don't want to become repetitive or boring. It's how do I continue to evolve with what I'm doing creatively and as a person.
I love that. You know, what you said, it reminds me of a story of burning the boats.
Right.
Have you ever heard that analogy?
Right.
So basically, back in the day, they say,
Yeah.
so it was a very small army. They went to an island and they were going to take over. The other army, the opposing army, was much, much bigger. So what they did was they burned their boats. So when they did that, there was no chance of retreat. There was no chance of surrender. The only way forward, the only way for them to survive was to win. So they burned the boats. And yeah, that reminds me a little bit of a story there. Yeah, I love that. Something I personally struggled with for a long, long time was limiting beliefs. And I think that a big, big thing that stops people from really living a beautiful life and reaching their potential is this feeling of unworthiness, that they're not worthy of great things. And have you ever really struggled with things like limiting beliefs, and what were they? Did you ever doubt yourself? And if so, I mean, what did you try to do to overcome it?
I was almost the opposite. I had that blind confidence, like, it's gonna work. And I just kept telling myself, like, because I do believe, like, you have to believe that.
Yeah.
I got a background in racing motorcycles, like dirt bikes. And it's like, when you go to a race, if you don't believe you can win, you won't. You have to go to the line thinking, I'm gonna win. You know, you manifest it. So yeah, I very much had that sort of mindset with everything. Like, I had to succeed. I had to believe it was gonna happen. There are times where it's tough and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. And you know, it's rewarding when you see progress. And the way this game works is it's like this. Yeah, and I'm still dealing with that now. You know, sometimes I'm going through flat spots, and sometimes I'm not growing and I'm not progressing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I have progressed and I have got further. So yeah, I was more like blind confidence and just believing that it's gonna work.
Yeah, wait, I love that, because what I've come to realize is we've only got so much like energy, right? So much energy units that we can use and utilize and put into different places, and we lose so much of those energy units just bogged down with our bullshit, just bogged down with our internal chatter and our thoughts and our feelings of unworthiness, and all of that is just taking up so much time and energy. And if you can just not necessarily work through it, but just drop it,
Yeah,
You've got
yeah,
all
block
of
it
this
up.
energy.
That was a really good thing, like early when I was doing daily videos. So video is not doing well, doesn't matter. There's a new one coming tomorrow, you know, and just always looking forward and keep sort of just like plow through basically, because sometimes you don't, like even just recently I put out like 4 10 out of 10s in a row.
Yeah.
I'm just like the 4th time I'm like, oh, please God, please. And then, you know, it's a 10 again and you're like, fuck, am I doing something wrong? And people are getting bored of me. But then like I went from that to putting out 4 1s in a row.
Oh.
Like, okay, it's just, that's the game.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my turn. Now it is my turn.
Yeah.
So you just need to push through all of that.
It's always darkest before the dawn. So you mentioned manifestation before, and you know the process of manifestation, as I understand it, is our thoughts lead to our feelings, which lead to our actions, which lead to our results. And the actions is the bridge, which turns the unmanifest to the manifest, this thing that goes from the inside to the outside. And it really seems like just because you had that positive mindset and that outlook towards the positive future, you were just able to manifest this life. You created this life. You know, you thought these positive thoughts, which created these empowering feelings, which allowed you to do this amazing work, which the result is the life that you now live. I recently found a video about manifestation that tanked. So I mean, 10 out of 10. That is the worst video. So I put out a video about...
It's a cool topic.
Yeah, it's a fun topic, right? And it's something that goes beneath the surface. So I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. So you recently did a video with Sammy on the drip. And in that video, you just pretty candidly said you need to do at least 3 videos a week. Every other day, at least 3 videos a week. That means, you know, if it takes 100 videos to have any level of success, then you need to be doing that, you know, 2 videos a week for a year.
Yeah.
But there was just the way that you sort of said it, was that it wasn't pussyfooting. It wasn't like beating around the bush. It was, it's 3 videos a week. I mean, that's what you do. You want to have success, do the work. Yeah. So how do you view hard work? Like when I used to watch you in England, so every day, like ding, it was 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, depending on the time zone in England, I'd be making my lunch and a notification would come up. And it was like my little ritual where I'd sit and I'd watch the video that you put out, that's right, as I made my lunch. But that was every day, every single day. And if you didn't do those videos, I probably wouldn't be here. But the fact that those videos came out every day, it's a testament to your hard work. So how do you view just fucking hard work?
Just like, and I don't see eye to eye with so many creators on this, and Sam and I butt heads about this. He'll complain like, oh, videos aren't doing as well, or like I'm not earning as much, and like, we'll make more videos. You know, like you can make a video every day. It's not impossible. Like they may not be as good, but especially at the beginning, if you want to grow, think of it like every one video is an opportunity for people to discover you, an opportunity for you to make money. And it's like, if you make 1 video a week, that's only 50 opportunities a year, right? I'll do 50 videos in a month and a half, and I've achieved in a month and a half what you did in a year.
Yeah.
And this is something I picked up from like people like Keis and who we did daily videos. It's like, you know, every video is you putting yourself out there, and it's an opportunity for you to be discovered. And a great example of this is like, I had a video, one of my most watched videos, I almost didn't make. I was in Pattaya, I was hungover as shit, and I was doing daily videos at the time. And I remember I checked out of my hotel, I had all my shit in my backpack, it was heavy, it was hard, and I felt like death. Sitting in this restaurant, I'm like, I don't want to make this video today, I think I'm just gonna go home. And I like came up with an idea, I was like, oh, I might do a scams video at some point. And just like sitting in the restaurant, I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. And I booked a Bolt to get home, and the guy arrived and he said, oh, sorry, I don't want to go to Bangkok, and he canceled on me. And I looked, and the next one was like a 15-minute wait for the next car. I was like, oh, I guess I'll just go make this video. And I didn't want to make the video, and I wasn't feeling it that day, and that video got 1 million views.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
You know, that's very much like an opportunity I almost missed.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never know, the next video that you don't make might be that video. So make one every day. Why not?
Yeah.
If you have the technical abilities to be able to make a video every day, make a video every day.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel triggered and motivated to share at the same time. So when I started getting into YouTube, right, I'd watch people like Mr. Beast, and they'd give advice. They said, I'd make 100 videos, get better every time. Your first videos are gonna suck.
Yeah.
And then you get better over time. And then I didn't believe it. Not that he clearly doesn't know anything, right? So I was like, okay, well, no, what I want to do is I want to research like how to record well and how to do this. And I want to keep learning. And even though I learned all that stuff, I sucked. The first videos still sucked. And it is through the action of doing it that you get better. And even though I've only got, 3.5K subs at the time of recording, people will ask me, how do I make a good video? And I now find the advice that I'm giving is you just start, because you're going to suck. and then you get better through the action of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, it's
100%. And like, this is a great thing about doing consistent videos. When you're doing like videos every day, you're learning every single day as well, because you really don't know, like you think you've grabbed everything, but when you're sitting down to edit, you're like, oh, I'm talking too long here, or I'm not talking long enough here. I'll make those changes tomorrow. And then when you're looking at the analytics of a video you did 3 days ago, you can look at your retention and be like, okay, people lost interest here because I wasn't talking enough, or I was talking too long, or I was too many drone shots, or it got long and boring in this point. So you're learning from yourself constantly. And the only way you do that is through the repetition of like making more videos and diving into the analytics and seeing where you need to improve.
Something I've really come to see is the hardest thing about all of this. It's not thinking about video ideas. It's not thinking about, you know, where should I go? What should I do? The hardest thing is clicking record. There's a resistance to just doing that step. It's almost like then the work begins. I don't know what it is. And every time I just go, fuck it. And I click the record button, I have fun. It's enjoyable. It just flows. It's smooth. And when it's done, I feel great. But there's a mental resistance there. And it's almost like, but I feel like that really pertains to a lot of things. But for some reason, when it comes to YouTubing, clicking record, there's a resistance there.
There's a really great new Peter McKinnon video came out in the last couple of days. You should watch that. It's about that.
Really?
It's so easy to talk yourself out of doing it or making a video. And that's like a little bit of self-doubt, or just, you know, wondering, is this idea good enough, or is this going to be, is this video going to work? Is this idea going to work? And I figured just do it anyway. Like when I did daily videos, it's like sometimes the ideas weren't that great, but it's like, let's just do it and see what we learn from it. And I needed to make money anyway. So that's what,
Yeah.
you know, that was a huge motivating factor in making all those videos, was that no video, no money. So if you want to improve, you just have to push yourself to do it. Even in the hard times, or the times you have doubt about the idea or the concept or the location, whatever, just do it. I mean, the majority of the people that just watch, like they're just looking for something to watch while they have lunch.
Yep.
Or, you know, the majority of the YouTube I watch is while I'm eating.
Yeah.
Sit down, turn on the TV. Who's there? Okay, like I'll watch just about anything from my favorite creators. Just like, okay, this is something for me to do while I'm eating.
Yeah.
Get me off scrolling on fucking Instagram Reels.
Yeah, like they do 100%. So let's say there's someone watching this right now and they want to create an extraordinary life in whatever way it is for them. Maybe they see your life and they see you traveling around the world, making these videos, earning great money. Or maybe they've got their own version of what a beautiful life is. And they want to go ahead and they just want to get the fuck out of their own way. They want to do the work and they want to create this truly beautiful life themselves. What piece of advice would you give to them?
I mean, it's so cliche, but do it. Like I always wanted to live abroad, was my dream for many years. And how that looked, I didn't know. I just wanted the adventure of breaking the monotony of going to an office every day. I wanted to experience living in a different country. And the hardest decision was to actually just do it. The closer I got, I always said, like, once I get whatever the amount of money was in my bank, I'm out and I'm gonna leave. As I got to the amount, or as I was coming up to the amount that I wanted, I got a promotion. And it's so easy to find all these excuses to not do it. I got a promotion, now all of a sudden, like, it was my first 6-figure job.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. And like, if I hang on a little bit longer, then I'm gonna make more money. And you know, there's always gonna be something coming up. And the light bulb moment for me was, I was hanging out with my dad and one of his friends one night, and we were just chatting. I said, like, you know, I'm gonna go live abroad at some point. And he said to me, oh, I almost did that once. And I was like, whoa, what's that mean? And he's like, yeah, I was gonna do that, and then I got a promotion, and I met my wife, and blah blah blah, and it never happened. It hit me so hard. It's like, I don't want to be saying I almost anything, you know. I would look at that with a bit of regret.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out for him. He got married and has an amazing family. But like, that was something that I really wanted to achieve. And I literally timed my resignation letter that night. I got home and I was like, no, I need to just do it. You know, stop looking for excuses or stop finding reasons not to do it. And even if you didn't quite have the amount of money that I wanted, at least I was making it happen.
Yeah.
It's a big decision to make the jump. If whatever it is, if it's moving overseas, there's so much that goes into it. You would know, like, it takes months and it's a whole lot of planning and selling all your stuff and getting rid of things and making that commitment to be like, I'm not renewing my lease, I'm out of here. You just really need to just go head first at it and don't miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because there's always a reason not to.
Oh man, I love that. That's gold. So for like the last 6-7 years, right, the winters in the UK suck. Like from like November to like May, it's dark at like 5 in the evening and cold, half full some days, doesn't get light till 8 days, sucks. And every winter I'd say, this is the last one. This is the last one. This is the last one. But even though I could have left, I never did. And in 2021, that winter, I was like, you know what? That is my fucking last one. That is the last one. And I am done with it. And the only reason I didn't go before that is because I didn't have the bollocks. That was it. Yeah. Didn't have the bollocks. Yeah. And I was recently on a meditation retreat, and the monk was like, do you want to know like the success to business, or do you want to know a very powerful lesson to actually having any form of success in your life? He was like, Nike, just do it. Like, that's the thing, just do it. He's like, it's not the big fish catches the small fish. It's the fast fish catches the slow fish.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
He was like, just do it.
I completely agree. Like, it's much easier said than done, as you know. But like, for me, when I was saving, actually, like, I don't even know if I want to expand on that. What you just said is awesome.
So I wanted to ask you something a little bit more philosophical now. And I want to know, what does success look like to you?
I've surpassed it by a long way. To me, success was, I wanted to get out of Australia. I didn't want to work in an office. I wanted adventure, and ideally, if I could make a living doing that. And just, I was happy. My original goal was like, oh, if I can earn $1,000 a month, I'll be fine. I can make that work. I didn't need to be rich. I didn't need material things. I was more interested in the adventure and living somewhere new and just creating a new, exciting life. And I surpassed that super quickly. I think my third month monetized, I was already earning more than that. So I just look at the rest as a bonus. I'm happy with everything that I've achieved. While I do have aspirations to go further, I don't care if I don't. If my channel never grew and I never got bigger or whatever, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm happy, I'm doing what I love now, and I'm getting paid to do it. So,
Mate, that's beautiful. You know, it's funny. I've heard it said that happiness always feels like one deviation away. It's always just a small step away from where you currently are. But it seems like in terms of your life situation, you've arrived at exactly where you wanted to.
yeah.
Do you find that you're happy to just feel that fulfillment and that sense of peace within yourself?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I'm happy just rolling with it. You know, like, it's really nice to be in a position where I'm not as obsessing so much over money and I'm not having to budget and be really careful about what I do. But I don't need that. It's just like a nice luxury. I'm just happy going with the flow at the moment. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything. Like, and my aspirations are just around whatever I'm doing, I want to do it the best that I can. And if this is the best I can, then that's cool.
There was something I heard Jeff Bezos say. He talked about a regret minimization framework. And he basically tries to live his life in a way that when he's older and he looks back on his life, he regrets as little things as possible. And so I'm wondering, like, to you, what does a well-lived life look like?
I mean, the number one priority in my life has always been having fun, which is something that I struggled with when I was working in a corporate job. And while I enjoyed what I did, I wasn't passionate about it. So I think happiness and all this just comes from, like, if you can find something that you really enjoy doing. I said to you earlier, this has never felt like work to me, never once. The video I'm making tomorrow, I'm excited. I can't wait to make it. So this is it's an example of that. You know, like, I'm in a really great position that I get to do what I want. I have complete freedom, really. I don't have any responsibilities. I just got to pay my rent. You know, that's about it. The rest is sort of all on my terms, and I think that's a really cool position to be in.
Oh, dude, that's beautiful. Something we talked about earlier was just like suffering, and that, you know, you live a beautiful life. You live a life that so many people probably watch this video. They'd love to have that life. They'd love to live in Thailand. They'd love to make videos, be creative, earn the money that you do, and just live the life that you do. But at the same time, you came here with 10K in the bank and no choice but to succeed.
Yeah.
And I look at my journey and I see that there were so many times I was sleeping on my mum's couch, where I got down to £3 in my bank multiple times. And that's a level of suffering that most people aren't willing to take. They're not willing to take that level of stress or put themselves in that difficult position. But you almost have to go through that suffering and put yourself in that stress in order to have the reward that is a beautiful life.
Yeah, and those things, you know, they teach you skills, right? Like, I've been broke before I was into like motorcycle racing and really expensive hobbies, and that was taking sort of all my money, and I have to be really careful and budget with that. And then what you learn from that is how to be smart with your money when you do get it, and how to budget and you know, really set yourself up for success. When I came here, I was on a strict budget, and I really had to sort of focus in on, you know, not losing control of that and not making mistakes. When I first moved abroad to Korea, I made all the mistakes. I was out too much, I was partying, I was living like I was in holiday mode, I had no real plan, I was just lost and just like having too much fun. And when I moved here, I'd learned from that, and I applied all those things that I learned from my mistakes previously.
I love that. It's funny, you know, it's like everything that goes up must come down. You know, every time you take a drug, you get a come down. Every time you get drunk, you get a hangover. And all those times you potentially have too much fun, you feel the stress and the pain of having all that fun through the fears and the insecurities around money and finances. And at the same time, if you're willing to put yourself in those difficult positions, work that hard, take that level of stress, you've been down. So the other side is you must come up.
Yeah.
You know, there is a reward, there is an upside to the downsides you're intentionally putting yourself in. You're willing to eat the shit so that you can have a lovely meal at the end.
Yeah, and you need to see that light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like, I knew early days when I was like grinding and saving money and eating street food, I was like, this will pay off. This will get to a point where it's all worth it. And I sacrificed at the beginning a lot of socializing, a lot of fun things, like Songkran as an example. I knew that that was it's like the busiest month or the best week of the year for us on YouTube living here. And I knew that I need to go home and edit my video and not be out all night partying because I wanted to be the first one with a video up. So I'm having fun at Songkran and everyone's drinking and having a great time, and I need to pull myself away from that to go home and edit this video while I'm half drunk, knowing that everyone else is having an incredible time without me. And but like, you need to just be disciplined in like knowing that that's an opportunity that you need to seize. And while everyone else is out partying and having fun, I was grinding, and they will pay off if you're on the right path and you believe in that path.
I heard a saying that you have to sacrifice your dreams or your dreams become the sacrifice.
Oh,
I think that resonates.
Yeah, hard. That's really.
So at this stage with life right now, what excites you as you look forward?
Making videos still excites me. Like I said, I'm excited for this video I'm making tomorrow. I'm going on a motorbike road trip, so I'm jumping on my bike. It's one of my favorite things to do. Exploring, also one of my favorite things to do. So yeah, it's the same things really that I've always enjoyed. Like I love being on my bike. I've got a car that I'm playing with now. I'm doing up my house, turning my house into a home.
Nice.
Excites me. You know, I've created a studio space. I want to make a garden out the back. Like I've got this little courtyard that I want to make into like a Japanese Zen garden.
Oh, that's so cool, dude.
So just the simplest things excite me at the moment, but a lot of the same things, you know, car, bike, spending time with my girlfriend, with my friends. Yeah, I don't go out drinking and partying and stuff that much anymore. That's just an area that I've sort of grown, I guess. I've grown out of that, and now more excited are things around home.
So it's like to an extent, like the next phase of life, but something I sort of see you do as well is you seem to always play. It's never too serious, it's play. You know, like, yes, you work hard, but you play with life and you have fun. You know, a lot of people, they look and they seem to think, you know, this is how life needs to be. I remember I look back and my vision for life for a long time was you go to school, you get a job, you save up, you get a mortgage, get married, you have a kid, you retire, and you fucking die. You know what I mean? And that was the vision for life.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you seem to play into. And because you haven't played into that, you just live this beautiful, fun, creative life that you can play with.
Yeah, I mean, having fun's always been like the top priority. And however that is, like, that's why I still ride a skateboard. Even though I'm old and I suck at skating, I still enjoy it. And I like getting on the board and I feel like I'm doing something active and fun. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Like, I know that thing is hammered into us, like, you know, you work, you get a job, you get a mortgage, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I wanted to escape from in moving here, is like, that didn't fit my mindset. I wanted freedom, I wanted fun. I don't need money, I don't need a Mercedes. I've had two of them, but I don't, like, they brought me no more joy than my 2004 Hilux brings me now. These material things I don't care for. It's moments that I enjoy.
It's been shown that after around $70,000 a year in household income, there's no increase in subjective well-being and happiness based on the money that you bring in. There's something I call subjective diminishing return. This is like, let's say, for example, you're driving down a lovely road, maybe you're driving down Phuket somewhere next to the beach, and you're in a Ferrari. And I'm like, how happy are you out of 10? You might say, oh, like an 8.9, I feel good. And then let's say, for example, you're driving down the same road on the same day, same weather, you're driving like a BMW 3 Series convertible. How happy are you? 8.7, 8.8? So there's such a small marginal difference in happiness. All of the extra work and stress and pressure and risk that you had to take on to get the Ferrari and not the BMW.
Yeah.
And even then, you have the Ferrari, you're worried you're going to get a dent in it. How can you keep up the maintenance? What if someone scratches it? Certainly for me, I realized that after a certain point, earning more money will mean no increase in my subjective well-being.
Yeah. I don't know why people become billionaires. I never, it makes no sense to me. If I earn whatever the number is needed to not work, like if it's $1 million and you can just live off investments or whatever, like I'm out. I'm sitting on an island and just chilling and doing what I'm doing now. Like if I'm a millionaire or a multi-millionaire, I'm not going on a fucking Zoom call. I'm not going into the office. I'm not wearing a suit ever. You know, I don't like going to meetings. Like, I don't understand that. I do think for a lot of those people it's ego driven, but like for me, there's none of that. Like if I said like my ideal, if I can make more than $1,000 a month, I'm happy. You know, I'm able to experience freedom. So I never understood the drive to continue grinding when you don't need to.
Definitely.
I probably live a better lifestyle than some of those billionaires, right?
What's the point in having money that you don't have the time to spend?
Yeah. Or like these people like lose families because they're always in the office and makes no sense to me.
I've always felt for a long time that the people that get paid to play are the ones that win at life. I remember hearing Alan Watts say, the people that get paid to play are like the true winners at life. So it really looks like you're winning at life.
Thank you. I love that.
So now I want to talk about business. You recently did a video breaking down your earnings, and thank you for the transparency, by the way. And it's funny, I remember watching a video of you maybe around the time I was coming out to Thailand, and I think you're around the $3,000 to $4,000 mark, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. And now I think based on the video you said, you was around the $10,000 a month mark.
Yeah.
So you've built a 6-figure a year business around this.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, what's the secret?
Secret. Well, firstly, you touched on the transparency. Like, this is something that drove me nuts about other YouTube. Like, people don't share and nobody knows. The reason I made that video is not to like brag or flex or anything like that. It's more to show, you know, this is a real business, and you can be quite successful with this. The secret is honestly, like, it's consistently hard work. Like, you have to work hard at the beginning and you grind and all that, but then once you get to the next level is continuing to elevate and continuing to expand. If you look at the dollar amount I earn from my YouTube ads, it hasn't gone up in the last 2 years. It's probably gone down. It's probably gone down from 3 years ago, like when I was early days of hammering out daily videos. It's just because I make less videos now. But what I have gotten better at is my side hustles and passive earners, and then the professional work that comes along with that. So continuing to not just be like, okay, I'm making good money now, like let's just cruise. I could very easily do that, but I want to keep building and expanding and getting new income streams, new revenue streams. I want to be less reliant on any one thing, so that should the worst happen, there's still other ways that I can earn. And also, I'm in a position now, for the first time in my life, I'm actually like investing money and saving, putting money away. And I'm realizing the importance of that. You know, I don't get paid like a retirement fund or superannuation, we call it. Like, I'm not getting any of that. So I also need to plan for my future. And it's important to strike like while the iron's hot. You know, while all these opportunities are coming to me, I need to take them and maximize what I can get out of this at this moment, because I don't know what the future holds.
Make hay whilst the sun shines.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when I watched your videos a couple of years ago, and this is, I suppose, a bit of an admission from myself, is, you know, I'd look and I'd think, oh, I'll come to Thailand, I'll make a video, I'll record some B-roll, I'll sit down, talk to the camera for 1 or 2 minutes, and I'll do that 3 or 4 times, add some music in, and I'm going to be making 3-4K a month.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how hard it was. It's a grind. And is there any advice you would give to someone maybe just starting out on their YouTube journey, the vlogging journey, the YouTube travel space, about potentially realistic earning expectations throughout the journey?
I mean, the realistic earnings are just going to be about how much effort you put in. You know, the real question is how hard are you prepared to work? Because if you make 2 videos a week, you're going to get paid for 2 videos a week. You make 7 videos a week, you're going to get paid for 7 videos. My first full month of being monetized, I made $500. My second full month, I made $1,500 US.
Wow.
But that second month, I made 30 videos. So it's just
$50 a video, right? Like you break it down for that. If you started a business, whatever the business is, at the beginning you're going to put in 7 days a week, right? That's how it goes for most businesses. Or you take time off here, but there'll never be a day that you're just doing nothing. And I think you need to treat YouTube the same way. Realistic earnings are just going to be based on how interesting your videos are, and you need to have a real strategic plan. I plan my videos. Is this going to get views? Is this interesting? Is this different? Am I going to stand out? These are all the more important questions. I think people get too focused on how much can I earn and not look at how can I make the best content. If you make exceptionally good content, you will break away from everybody. People say, oh, COVID was the best time because there was no competition or the market was less saturated. But if you look at the people that did the best out of that time, they're still the best creators. People like Paddy Doyle, like he makes exceptionally good content. I feel like if he started now, he'd be just as successful because the content is great. So I think the focus needs to be, one, on the work ethic and working really hard, and then 2, making great content. And learning what great content is like, watching tutorials and learning about videos, learning how the mind works, learning the psychology of, it's not just like talking in the B-roll and then talking in the B-roll. There's a science to it, when you place things and why you place things and how you tell a story to engage people. So realistic earnings will be whatever you're prepared to put in.
Man, I love that answer. Something I keep hearing recently is stop thinking about the money you want to earn. Stop thinking about the money you want to earn and think about the problems you're going to solve. You think about the problems you're going to solve, the money will take care of itself. And in this content game, this is more like focus on the content. Don't think about the money you want to earn. Focus on making the best content you can. And if you keep doing that consistently, the money will come.
Yes. Yeah. Don't come here and make 7-Eleven toasty videos, because there's a million of them and you're not going to stand out, and you're not going to, people come with expectations of, oh, I'm going to grow at the same rate as other people, but you need to really focus on the best creator. The cream will always rise to the top, right? The best creators will shine through, will break through, and people will subscribe early on when you're a smaller creator if you're making really good content. Yeah.
That's definitely something I've realized, is that if you are a fantastic creator, you might make a few videos and you might get overlooked. You might make a few more, you might still get some traction. But if you are good and you make enough, you can't help but be seen.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, YouTube platform is designed for everybody to succeed. It sounds blunt when I say it, but it is really just hard work and making really good videos.
So let's look at the Thailand niche, right? So the way that I've been thinking about it is that there's the Thailand niche like a pie, right? It's a big pie. And it's not even that big a pie. Like out of all of the Thailand YouTubers, there's probably a few of the Thailand YouTubers that are eating enough of that pie to live an abundant life. They're earning good money, everything's good. The rest of the Thailand YouTubers, they're not really surviving off that pie, right? That's sort of the Pareto distribution, the unequal law of unequal distribution, etc. Now, what I'm beginning to realize is, well, I can't just tackle the Thailand niche like everybody else. I need to do something a little bit different. So I'm thinking, okay, do I do the Thailand niche, but then also maybe like the personal development and entrepreneurship niche, right? But then what I'm doing is I'm taking this big pie and I'm trying to take a even smaller segment of that pie and survive off that pie. And I'm wondering, like, what could these new Thailand YouTubers coming into the space, or travel YouTubers, etc., how can they try and get a piece of this pie that's big enough for them to eat and survive on, when there's so many people just fucking grabbing at this pie?
Yeah, there is. But what you said, like, about like the pie gets smaller as you niche down, like, that's true. But if you really niche down on something like personal development or something like that, you may also appeal to people that are interested in personal development but interested in Vietnam, right? And they may see you, and that will become more of the pie than Thailand. The Thailand pie might shrink over time and the personal development pie expands. So it'll be, I mean, you don't know until you do it, but that'll be a really interesting one to watch if that's the direction you're heading in. For new YouTubers, I think just being different, being original. I would like to think my videos were original to the space. There wasn't anyone really doing lifestyle vlogs, day in the life type vlogs in Thailand at the time when I started, and I think I saw there was an opening there. The problem with, I see so many YouTubers coming out here and they're doing the same videos that everyone else has done, and they're just not going to be as good, right? We talked about, if you're going to come and try and copy Paddy Doyle, you can't be a better Paddy Doyle than Paddy Doyle.
Yeah.
So find a way to be unique. I'm always looking at new YouTubers and smaller YouTubers to see what people are doing, and there are some people that are doing really interesting, unique things, and I think they're the ones that will shine through. But the people doing the same recycled videos that have been done 100 times, they'll have a really hard time breaking out of that.
It's like the more competition there is in the space, the more urgently you need to get better, because the competition is fiercer. When there's more people in that market, there's more competition, and therefore, in order to succeed, you have to be better. And I certainly see like some of the YouTubers coming out loud, like they're early doors, they get here, there's a dude, I can't remember, hey, there's some really creative YouTubers, right? And their aesthetic and the editing's on point, and it's like, you know, I look at some of my videos and I see, okay, well, I'm never gonna be like them in that respect, right? It's like what I would imagine showering Shaq must look like. Like my editing's never going to look like their editing, right? It's never going to be as good. So, and that's why when watching Paddy, for example, I realized, okay, he is fantastic at the way that he does his thing, and I can never be as good at doing it like him. So I need to find my voice, my space, you know, that type of thing.
100%.
And I find it really interesting what you said about like, okay, well, you might have a smaller part of the Thailand pie, but maybe you're adding like some Vietnamese sausage into the mix, right? You're bringing something else in from a different market, and suddenly your plate becomes a bit more full.
That's right. And I think what's really important is like building a connection with your audience. So sharing things like I talk about, you know, I share a lot of my interests, like skateboarding and doing up cars and my motorbike and, you know, my personal things that people can relate to, the audience can relate to. So if someone watching at home likes to skateboard or used to skate, they're like, oh, I've got that in common with this guy. And they'll build a subconscious relationship with you based on those things. So yeah, I think sharing that stuff is really important. And just, you know, I keep saying like, make good content, but learn what good content is. Watch tutorials. Like I still watch tutorials. I'm still trying to learn how to be better at cinematography and learn what makes a good video. All that's available. There's tons of free tutorials on YouTube of how to edit better, how to tell stories better, what makes a good video. So really, like, you're trying to be the 1% of something, to put in the effort required to be the 1% of something.
Oof, love that. So what if there's someone at home watching and they're thinking that they want to come to Thailand and they want to put a thumbnail up of an adolescent teen in a red light district, and they want to make videos about $3 happy ending massages and videos about this Thai MILF came to my street, it came to my condo at 3 a.m. in Pattaya. Is there any bit of advice you would give to those people?
Stay home. No, I hate those videos personally. They're against the law here in Thailand. So the one thing to be aware of is the laws here. So it's not like back home where filming in a public space is legal. You can't film someone here as the subject of a video without their permission. So straight off, you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
YouTube's not going to like that. So what you need to remember is YouTube is first and foremost an advertising platform. So what are they going to want to advertise on? Not videos promoting red light districts, or like if you're you're a brand, you're an advertiser, you don't want to be associated with that. You don't want your ads shown on that. So YouTube doesn't want that. And eventually they find out and all those channels get shut down and demonetized anyway. So if fuck off and stay. I love it. That's the long and the short of it, really.
I love it. And also back yourself, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like if that's the height that you think your creative potential is, you're not even tapping into it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the lowest part.
Yeah. I had a guy email me this morning and he said, like, the email is hilarious. It's just like 2 lines. He said like, hey, my wife wants me to start a YouTube channel. I can't figure it out. Can you help me? It's like, if you can't figure out how to start the channel, you shouldn't be creating.
Yeah.
You know, ideally you're a creative or an artistic person to begin with.
See, that's interesting. So I really find like I'm not an artistic aesthetic person. Like my creativity comes out in different ways. So it's like, whereas I see maybe you or Paddy or someone, you know, you'll get these beautiful shots, or I'll see Sammy's a fantastic storyteller. And I find that my creativity comes out in my thoughts, the way that I'm thinking, the way I'm seeing the world, you know, my worldviews. What I've tried to do is package my creativity in a slightly creative way in the YouTube space, right? So here is my creative passion, here's my creative skills, and I now need to bring it over into the YouTube space. And that's sort of the journey that I'm on now.
Yeah, well, you have that to offer, right? You have interesting things to talk about to offer. So as long as you have something to offer, I think people want to start a channel just because they want to be a YouTuber or they want to start a channel, but you need something to offer people.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Is like what I've come to realize is that the marketplace, the economic marketplace, will give you a financial reward in exchange for the value that you bring it. And if you bring bollocks, If you bring nothing of value, nothing tangible, if you bring something that is easily commoditizable, it's something that everybody can do, there's no barrier to entry, then you will be financially compensated by the marketplace in reward for the value that you're bringing, the size of the problem that you're solving, and the quality of the material and the product that you bring to market. So if you want to turn this into a business, then your product has to be exceptional. The problem that you solve has to be significant. And if you aren't getting compensated financially by the marketplace, that is a reflection of the quality of your product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about sponsorships and other revenue streams. So sponsorships, affiliates, these types of things. So I said you were completely open about all those different revenue streams, so thank you. Is there any sort of overlooked revenue opportunities for YouTubers or creators that maybe they aren't tapping into or could be sort of doubling down on or looking more into?
I think selling products is a big one, you know, like merchandise, or using, you know, I hate the word, but you have influence, right? And really making the most out of that. If I wanted to start a clothing brand, I would be smart and I would wear those clothes every day in the videos, and people would just start to subconsciously like it because like they see you wearing it, oh, that looks cool, and then I can sell that. So I think that's one, and that's one I would like to tackle next year, is not just like merchandise of like whatever clothing, but like a brand, like something that people would want to be a part of. I think that's something that's really overlooked, and it's just, I like the clothes that I wear, so I don't want to wear my own clothes. I like wearing different clothes, but that's a real opportunity. That's an opportunity that I'm missing out on personally. Sponsors and everything, there's tons of opportunities around that. The sponsor stuff that I'm more interested in lately is product placement more than an ad, because ads are boring.
Yeah.
And I can see in my analytics, people skip, like a large percentage of the people skip over that ad for 1 minute or whatever it is. But if you can find a way to subtly work that in and build curiosity instead of shoving an ad down people's throats, I think that has way more potential than the standard format of ads that we have at the moment.
Interesting. So I'm like 3.5K subs right now, and companies reached out to me to do a promo. It's like a 30 to 60 second promotion, and it's $300. Should I take that?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? That's $300 for a minute's work, right?
Pay.
And look, this is, there will be a part of the audience that hates it, and I understand that. I hate YouTubers that have those sponsor reads, but this is also how you earn a living. So as long as you don't do them in every single video, I hate people that do an ad in every video. I try and my best to space mine out as much as I can. But what happens is, like, you'll get one and then that opportunity may grow or may continue, right? So one of my maybe my second or my third sponsorship was my VPN company, and I was talking with them last night. They're trying to sign me for all of next year as well. So that's been 3 years now of sponsorships through this one company, and now like the money is getting quite good. Like the money grows with the channel and the growth of everything. And you look at how much I've earned from that over the last 3 years, it's quite a significant amount of money. So you don't know where that's going to take you. And then once you do, I feel like there's a database out there for brands, because I start to get more and more, and the more I get, and I've got consistent ones now. So I've kind of had that door shut for a little while, but the opportunities are just flooding in. Now it's every single day I'll get an email for some potential company or a brand that wants to partner up with you. So I think that is a really important part of the business. Is, you know, no one wants to have too many sponsor reads, but this is the bread and butter. So
sounds like you could make some money by palming them off to some other creators, potentially, and getting a little cut.
I like that. That's a good idea.
If they're coming in and say, oh, maybe not for me, I'm booked up for the next 3 months, but this person will do it this way, or speak to them.
Yeah, set up a little agency.
Yeah, or a little affiliate commission or something.
Yeah.
Nice. I wanted to ask you some personal advice, if that's okay, some business advice. So what I want to do is I want to launch a community of other motivated people who want to create a life of fun, freedom, and flexibility. They want to earn money online. They want to reach their full potential. They want to travel the world, right? They want to start their own businesses. And I want to do this by helping people, by building a community that different people can join, and they can access the different trainings that they need to focus on their personal growth, specific trainings on how to create great content, how to edit, as well as real marketing lessons on building landing pages, but actually getting the skills that's going to make them exceptional and actually allow them to make money online. And I'm thinking about how to do this. I know I want to run paid advertisements to sort of bring some clients into the community. I know I sort of want to, nurture my audience through my YouTube videos and deliver real value so that people can begin to see the value that can be had inside of the community. And have you got any sort of advice on maybe how I can use my YouTube videos and my YouTube channel to potentially help further that mission of building this community of people all working on just growing themselves, growing their income and traveling the world.
I think if you deliver that message, people always think my channel's too small for whatever it is. But if you could get like 1% of your audience on board, like that's still amazing, right? Get 1% of 3,500 people. That's fucking awesome. Like, so I think it's so easy for people to say, oh, my channel isn't big enough or my audience isn't big enough, but that's not the case. Like, if you've got anybody watching, that's a potential that you can lean on. And the people that watch you regularly and subscribe to you, they're people that trust you, and they're people that will believe what you say, and they know you're not just trying to, like, you know, take advantage of them or whatever. They're people, oh no, I know this guy, I like his message, I trust him. So they're probably the easiest conversions is your existing audience, and just keep working with that, keep building that, and understanding that it's a process and it takes time. But if you're getting 100 subscribers, even if you're getting 100 subscribers a month, there's potential in all those 100 people. So using the people that trust you already, I think is a really important tool.
Yeah, there's something called the 7-11-4 rule, which Google had, and it says that in order for someone to buy something from you, they need to have consumed around 7 hours of content on 11 different touch points in 4 different places.
Okay.
That's sort of what that is. So I'm sort of seeing that YouTube is this, what's called the messy middle. You know, maybe people discover me in these different places. It could be ads, it could be this. But there's going to be a deliberation phase of a couple of weeks or a month where people are building the relationship with me, understanding me, seeing my content, resonating with my message. And that's where the purchase decisions are going to be had. And that's where I'm sort of realizing now for me that, you know, YouTube is a part of the business, it's not the business. And I wonder if for other aspiring YouTubers as well, they should be thinking maybe YouTube isn't the business, it's part of the business. How does YouTube fit into the larger holistic ecosystem that is a revenue generating business, rather than this is the one pillar that my financial freedom or future depends on?
Yeah, I do agree with you, but I also think at the beginning it needs to be the full focus. I don't believe in dividing focus. I think, like, when I was doing daily videos, because that's all I was focused on, just that. And if you're taking time away to do something else, maybe you're missing out on, you know, the now, which is building your channel, building your reputation, and trying to break away from everyone else. So I do think all that stuff that you just said is really important, and YouTube not being the business, but like an element to the business. But I think at the beginning it's important to establish yourself so that you can get to that position.
That resonates. We were talking briefly earlier, and you know, I hadn't put out as many videos as I should. I probably put out on average under a video a week. My reasoning or rationale for that was because I was, you know, trying to orchestrate the back end, think about the offering that I was going to create, the business I was going to create around this. And if I'd have focused on the YouTube, instead of all that deliberation, building this out, thinking about this, and I just focus on YouTube, imagine where I'd be now because of that singular focus and the business that I would subsequently build, how much more successful it would have been because of that singular focus if I'd have just focused on YouTube.
Yeah, it just sort of pushes everything back. But it's tough because when you're not earning all that much from YouTube at the beginning, and it's tough to grind out with very little reward, whereas like you can focus on this thing that's potentially going to be really lucrative for you further down the line. The strategy I would take is to build the channel first and build your reputation first.
And that's what I wish I did.
The rest will come. But to a certain extent, you have done that. You know, you have been building a channel, and, you know, I told you before, the opportunities come when you don't need them.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that works. It's like, at the beginning, I would have loved like all these professional gigs that I'm getting offered now. But at the same time, I wouldn't get offered them because I don't have the same reputation I have. And that's why these opportunities are coming to me now.
I can definitely feel that the universe can smell desperation. When you need something, you don't get it. It's almost like you repel it. But when you need money the least, that's when most of it comes.
Yeah.
Very strange, but I can't explain it. That's definitely the way my life has been. And it's
absolutely. Yeah.
And it's a message I keep hearing a lot recently. Something that I share in my videos is that the biggest way that your YouTube could fail, obviously one is that you don't put enough hard work in, but the other thing is running out of money. And you need to have enough runway to be able to give it a good shot. You know, it's like, would you reckon, it's so hard to say for anyone thinking about coming out here and making YouTube as a primary revenue stream. But for me, I think you need to be looking at 6 to 12 months without earning a penny, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to go 12 months without earning.
Yeah.
I came out here with enough money to last me 6 months without making a cent.
Nice.
With my tight as fuck budget that I had. But I was like, if I'm not earning within 6 months, it's probably not going to happen. So I think 6 months, instead of looking at a time, look at it at how many videos is that going to take you?
Okay, so different input. Focus on inputs, not on
Yeah. Because like we said, you can do 50 videos in a year, or you can like once a week, or you can do 50 videos in a month and a half. So what is it going to take for me to grow and to start earning? Is work backwards.
This is really useful because this is a very good lesson for me, because a flaw that I have, and I think many people have, is they try to find the way around the hard work. So I keep asking questions, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm drilling in, but the message remains the constant. Make great content, keep getting better, do it consistently.
Make a lot of it.
And make fucking a lot of it. That's it.
That's it. Every single video is an opportunity to be discovered and to be shared and for you to blow up. You don't know when that one, I told you, the one video I almost didn't make 1 million views. Like you never know which one is gonna, one video could change your channel.
So I wanted to ask a question about the brand, right? So when I reached out to you about doing this video, you had a question to me about, what was the sort of nature of the content and what was I going to do? And you seem to have meticulously curated a brand to the point that people that probably are in the Thailand space and watch you, if they saw a wardrobe, they'd know it was your wardrobe. Right. It seems like you've been very conscious in creating this brand and this persona. Is that something that you've done? And if so, how did you do that?
I mean, a lot of the, like my being cautious about like who I associate with and what I make videos about and stuff, I kind of got bitten. So I made a video with a guy who made travel videos. It was a small YouTuber. I ran into him in the street and he's like, hey man, do you want to just like feature in my video? We'll just walk down the street and you can talk to me, tell me a story. I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries. Did it. And then 6 months later, he made a video about a wet t-shirt competition in Pattaya.
Wow.
That video blew up. And then he's like, oh, there's potential here. So he went down the avenue of like doing the girl in my hotel room and the wet t-shirt competition and the bikini babe and Pattaya videos. And forever, my fucking head is in one of his thumbnails on that channel, a channel that I want absolutely nothing to do with. So from that, I learned like, okay, I need to be really careful who I collaborate with and what direction that goes, because my personal branding is what's going to get me deals, what's going to get me professional work. It's what's, I would love to one day be in a position where, I don't know, I make a Netflix documentary or some kind of be a part of a really big project. You don't want anything out there that's going to take away from your appeal for those things. So I'm very aware of what I'm putting out there, what's out there already. And I guess the image that I want shown of me to the world. I noticed as soon as I stopped doing that, as soon as I stopped including partying and girls in the thumbnails and stuff, it's like all of a sudden there was more opportunities coming towards me. I was getting more brand opportunities, more emails. I could instantly see the difference in that. So I just want to keep going in that direction.
A large part of this discussion we've had has been around content and how important good content is. And I'd really like to dig into how we can make great content. And something that I keep hearing and seeing is that it's all about the idea.
Right.
It starts with the idea. So what's your sort of ideation process and how do you think of a video idea?
For me, it's the title first. The title is the most important part. That's the notification people get on their phone. That's the first thing people see before they look at the thumbnail. So the title and the thumbnail are the most important parts, because it doesn't matter how good the video is. If no one clicks it, it's not going to get any views. I come up with the title first, and then I think, can I make a good thumbnail around this? Okay, yes, let's build the story. And the storytelling element is by far the most important, because that, like, the most important element of the video itself, because that keeps people engaged. So I think of titles, and like I've got in my phone in my notes, I just jot down anytime I come up, I think of a good video idea. It's like, okay, what's the title? And you can work on that, but as long as there's some kind of something to pull people in, whether it's like a shock factor, or people seem to love negativity. Anytime like you can put a negative twist in the title on a positive situation, that can work out really well. Examples like, if I do like a Q&A video, I've done this a couple of times, down the thing I'll say, am I really happy?
Right.
And it looks like and I'll choose a screenshot of me looking like this. And people love that negativity, or people are drawn to that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, my process is title first, thumbnail, and then story.
Nice. Okay, cool. And when trying to think of like, let's say a title, are you thinking you know, what's happening in my life at the moment? Are you thinking, you know, I need to do something around Thailand? Are you thinking what's popular on YouTube at the moment? You know, what's popping on in other niches that you maybe want to replicate? Like, what is that sort of starting point of what could this video be about?
I used to put a lot of emphasis on that, like sort of do research and look at other countries and other things people were doing, and that's why I've done all those like 5 things I love about this or 7 things to avoid when blah blah blah, like algorithm videos. Basically, they don't excite me as much, but they're a necessary tool. They appeal to a wider audience and they pull people in. Lately, because I don't have as much interest in doing those kind of videos, I still do them from time to time because they're a necessary element. But for me, I try and think of, like, I want to do more day in the life sort of stuff. For me, the most exciting video I can do is to take a really boring, mundane topic or like really boring thing and try and make an interesting story out of that. That's what excites me. Like, I made a video once, Rob said to me, I bet you can't make a video about tying your shoelaces. I said, well, fucking watch me. So my video, I went down to Pattaya, bought a pair of shoes, showed like this knockoff market and did the whole trip down there. And then like at the end, I'm like tying up the shoes and I said, oh, this is the way I like to lace up new Nikes. And I did a comparison to like my real ones to these knockoff ones that I bought. And the video was essentially how I tie my laces. That was like the main element. And that, for me, that was a really fun video to make. And anything that I do that's put a new exhaust on the car, how do I turn that into a really fun, entertaining story? Okay, well, let's talk about this little annoying rattle that I've got on my car and build a story and build hype around that. That's what I enjoy.
I love that. I really want to come back to the story component in a sec. So, headline, thumbnail. So I saw probably around a year ago, I felt like there was a change in your thumbnails. It felt like there was a unified font that sort of introduced itself in yellow or white. The skies came a little bit more alive. The colors are sort of changing. So was there sort of a time where you were like, oh, I'm going to change my style of thumbnails now, and this is what I'm going to try and do and bring it to life? Or
yeah, it's just been a development process. I was never good on Photoshop or anything like that, and over time I've made 600 videos. That means I've made 600 thumbnails, or probably more, because sometimes I make 2. You naturally get good at things like that too, or you get better and constantly improving and things like Photoshop and photo editing. And I sort of would always experiment with different things, and I started just seeing the results or seeing patterns of things that worked. I know that if I seem to have a darker background and I pop off in the thumbnail more, that usually has a better effect. And then if I do use text, I can use that yellow or white, and that also pops off the dark background. Also, vibrant colors are really good. If it's outside, give me blue sky or something like that. There's really vibrant colors, or like really monochrome. Sort of like somewhere in the middle. Sorry, nothing in the middle. It's either like one extreme or the other. I got better at using, I use a lot of like AI images for behind, but now I've gotten better at also just like taking sort of nice shots of a background that I would like, and then I edit that photo and use that behind. So it's just been a development process of me getting better and also picking up things on what works and what doesn't.
So story is something that, you know, for me, it feels like at certain times in the journey, just things keep reappearing to you, and that's how you know, okay, this is something I need to pay more attention to personally. And one of those is story. I'm seeing that the people I'm really watching and listening to on YouTube at the moment, they tell great stories, and stories transcend time. You know, the Bible is just an ongoing set of stories. You know, the message is best communicated hidden in a story. And we were speaking earlier and you mentioned stories, and it was just so clear that was a part of your process.
The most important. Yeah. The most important for the video element is because that's what keeps people engaged, right? So if you have a reward and the reward is at the end of the video and you manage to hype that up enough, people are going to want to watch the whole video so they can see, did this work out or did this not work out? I learned that really early on. I made a video about, I stayed in a hotel in Pattaya and I'd lost my key the night before, and the plastic fob thing on the key for the aircon, my hotel wanted like 5,000 baht to replace that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go out and find it. So I went back to all the bars that I'd been to the night. Problem is, I'd been on a bender the night before. I'd been at like 10 different places. I was like going from like bar to bar and asking them, no one had found it. And then it was in a nightclub, and I went in there and I got the key back. I was like, yes, that's the reward. And then then I just went on with my day. And then I looked at the retention and it's like dead flat up until I found the key. And there's this drop off of like, people are like, oh cool, that's what I wanted to see. That's the setup, the conflict. and the resolution. So resolution needs to be right at the end.
Yeah.
And you need to find a way to continue to like tease that and keep people engaged so that they watch through to the end.
Nice. Okay, I love that. So something that I've started doing in my videos, and I've noticed my retention getting better, is I'm trying to confirm the headline in the opening of the video. So I'm confirming the headline, and then I'm sort of breaking up the intro into 4 or 5 different scenes or angles. So it's sort of, you know, if the video's how I manifested my dream life in Thailand, it will be, in this video I'm talking about how I manifested my dream life in Thailand, and dun 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 dun. Then I'm realizing, cool, input the story. So I might do, so would you recommend I do something like 30 seconds of confirming the headline and sort of focusing on retention and keeping people and letting them obviously score, and then how could I effortlessly say transition into a story about something from the past, for example? Would it be, yeah, I'm not a natural storyteller,
right?
And what I don't want to be is a natural explainer, because that's horrible,
right?
And I'm trying to think, how can I get better at storytelling? Is there a set of stages that I could think through? Or?
The way I like to do it, and I don't know if this is the best way, it's a way that's really natural for me, is I'll start off with like a question or a statement or something that builds a bit of intrigue, but it's short. And then I kind of like cut away. Recently, what was the video I did? I did a video about, I said like these visas are ruining Thailand, saying there's too many people coming. And the way I started that video is I said something along the lines of, I'm seeing this real trend on social media lately, and I don't know if it's a good thing or not. And then you cut away and it's like, ooh, like that builds intrigue. Ooh,
yeah.
What is this? What is the problem? And then we go into it, and then I sort of like sit down and I set up all the issues, right? There's a problem with people sharing stuff on social media. They're paying ridiculous prices for places and bragging about it, which is going to normalize people overpaying.
Yeah.
So it builds sort of your narrative. I like to tease it, then build it up, and then explain for a little bit, and then somehow tie it up at the end.
Yeah. I loved that video, by the way. It was so refreshing in a sea of just, you know, condo tour, you know, here's my condo, come look around my condo, come and you know, this is how much it is. And yeah, it is cheap for the West, but it was just nice to see an actual informed and educated perspective on what's actually happening.
Yeah, exactly.
That was very refreshing to see.
Oh,
Thank you for making that. So something I'm thinking about is past stories. Like, I'm sort of understanding how if you're going through an event and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna tell this thing in a story-based fashion. Here's the conflict, and here's the conflict resolution at the end, and here's the journey I'm gonna go through. So let's say, for example, I'm thinking about telling a story in the past. I want to share about how I wanted to start a business and I got fired from my job, and I ended up starting a load of businesses that didn't work, and I found one and it turned out to be wildly successful. Is there like a framework or a sort of structure I could think about in terms of how to best tell that story? Or is that pretty much, hey, you did it, that's it, you know, you wanted to do this, you got fired, that was the conflict, you did this and struggled, and then it worked, and hey, that's your story. Am I overcomplicating it, or is...
No, like, I think you can't give away too much too early.
Oh, okay.
To keep people roped on. So like, for a story like that, how you go from like rags to riches, you could say like, this mistake made me however much money you made in a month, right? This one mistake made me $10,000.
Okay.
And then people are gonna be like, what's that mistake? And you can set up the whole story at the beginning. I used to be broke, I used to do this, blah, blah, blah. I started a business, it didn't work. I did this, it didn't work. I was going down this path, and then I fucked up, and then I ended up on this path, and that's the path that gave me the success I have now. And that's the reward at the end. And that's people like, where's this $10,000? It's like, last month, for the first time, I made over $10,000 in a month.
Oh, mate, I can already just feel how different that is. I feel like my creativity expanding here when you say that.
Yeah, and there needs to be like things along the way of the rewards here, how do we get there, but how do you not lose interest before then? So you need to sort of tease that idea throughout and keep people hooked in.
So I was watching like a explanation of how Mr. Beast makes videos, and he has side quests. So he'll have like a side quest here and here and here throughout the video to stop those retention drops.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's a little bit like what you're saying here, is you're having different events happen throughout, but each event is like, oh, but then what happens?
Yes.
And then, oh, this leads to this. Yeah. And I remember seeing, I can't remember what it was, but there was the South Park creators did a video about how they create, and it was like, this happened, therefore this happened. And so there was like a, therefore this, but this, and because of this. And there was a framework that they followed. So that's awesome. Okay, so stories are everything.
Yeah.
Stories are everything.
But like, it can also be, how would you tell the story to a mate in a pub and make it interesting? You know, like you can't just tell the story for how it is. But I think you can't give away too much at the beginning.
Okay, that's incredibly useful, thank you.
No
and that's
worries.
the kind of thing that is like, profoundly valuable. That's the type of thing people pay a lot of money for, I think, to get information like this, right?
And send me money.
Yes. Buy me a coffee link somewhere below. Yeah, I'm realizing now as I look at the creators that I listen to, I take on their lessons because they told them in story. And I internalized that story and I've remembered it and it's anchored in my mind because they communicated the teaching and the lesson in a story.
That's it. There's way more of a science to it than people think of. Like, you know, you said it really good in your video about leaving or not being a Thailand YouTuber. It's like, you think you just talk about something and film some B-roll and you just slap it all together and that's a video. And when you break it down to its most purest form, that's what it is. But it's what substance you offer in those talking points and knowing when to sort of pull away and not give away too much. That's why I do those B-roll cuts.
Yeah.
Right as it's starting to ramp up, pull it away. It's like, what's about to happen? What happens next?
I love that.
And that's all subconscious things. The viewers don't, like, as a viewer, you don't know that that's what's happening to you, but that is what's pulling you in and keeping you along for the ride.
I love it. So let's say you land in Bangkok today. You've got 10k Aussie in the bank. The YouTube marketplace is as it is. The Thailand marketplace is as competitive as it is. Everyone's doing fucking toasty videos and shit, right? What do you do? How do you start again? How do you build from the ground up?
I would identify like where there's a gap. Like what are people doing? What is there a lot of? What is there not much of? What do I like doing? If I was to start again, I'd go back to daily videos.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to grow, in my opinion. Best way to get out there. And it'd be a mix. So, you know, you do have to do some of those like 7 things I hate about blah, 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 because they appeal to people. They appeal to like the casual viewers. Or you could do like a weed information video that appeals to like a whole new audience. Scattering a mix of information, sharing stories about you, like building a connection with the audience, or not done well in the space. So when I came to do what I'm doing, I wanted to mix Casey Neistat, skating videos and music videos. That's the style that I wanted, which is the style that I have now. It's developed, but that's essentially what I wanted. And I thought, no one's doing that in the travel space. Everyone's doing like either cinematic, like voiceover videos. Everyone's kind of following the same formula, and I'm like, I can be different here, and I can do something that I enjoy, because that's the content that I enjoy making. And then I can include my lifestyle and things about me, and that's, you know, sharing personal things builds that relationship. So those are the things I would really focus on, is finding your own unique place and really like go in there with authority. Make a video every single day, or like if it's not every single day, close to every single day. Show up to work every day.
Well, I love that. I always remember the stories of Eminem. He would get to the studio at 9, he'd leave at 5. Like, what are you doing? Why are you getting here at 9? Why are you leaving at 5? He's like, it's work. This is what it is. Don't make it something it isn't. This is what you do. You show up every day, you leave. You have to balance, but you need to show up every day. You get here at 9, why are you getting here at 3, 4 in the afternoon? This is a job, this is work.
Yeah.
And that's why he's great.
Yeah, and you're trying to be better than everybody else at something, so you need to approach it with that mindset. Like when I was a motorcycle racer, if I wanted to be better than everyone else, I needed to practice more, I needed to train more, I needed to be in the gym more, I needed to be more better with my diet, more healthy than everybody else.
Yeah.
I very much remember my mindset in that time at the beginning was like, well, I'm going to be the hardest working, because no one was making daily videos, or Dan was. And I was like, well, no one else is doing that, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just work harder than everybody. And then at least if it doesn't work out, you know, you gave it everything.
Yeah. Something that you touched on earlier was like you've had, you know, your style would sort of be like Casey, skateboarding, a bit like music video, you know. And I think that some people, I think, are just incredibly creative and they can create this art. Whereas I think for a lot of people, they maybe don't have the element of creativity. And what I found really useful was to lean on other people. So I would say, look at your content. I would look at someone like Alex Hormozy in the marketing space's content. And I'd look at another, say, YouTube channel that I admired and I like their music and their aesthetic. And I piece that together to make my own. Yeah. And it's almost like you can lean on this, lean on that, lean on this that already exists that you like, and the culmination of these things that already exists creates your unique style.
That's right. And there's nothing wrong, especially at the beginning, of taking someone that you like and copy their formula, because you know that's a formula that works. So if the formula works, you can find out how to make it your own. But when you're starting and you're learning, copy that formula. If you break down one of my videos and you go, okay, talks for 10 seconds, then there's 8 seconds of B-roll, then he talks for a minute, and then there's 10 seconds of B-roll, then he talks for this. If you just, and you know, this part of the story is for this part of the topic is for this, and then you run with that format, it will work because it's a proven format.
Yeah.
And then you just find your own way to develop it. And in a way, you can kind of train your audience as well. Like if you get people that like you, you can slowly shift what you're doing, and people will still follow along, and they'll, you know, you train them to like this new thing.
Yeah.
And you will pick up people along the way that are also interested in the thing.
I love that. One of the things that I love to do is to reverse engineer success. See something that works, I pick it apart and look at the different components. I see where they are, why they were there, and that then becomes something I can incorporate. And someone could definitely, you know, let's say they liked your style of videos, but they liked rock music and they liked more nature. Well, they could go to Thailand, they could speak about a different topic in the same story-based fashion. They could use B-roll with different types of rock music. And they could, you know, speak about something that's, you know, right to them, and they're getting the jungle aesthetic, and suddenly they've taken your format that worked, they've made it their own, they've added their own element to it, and now it's their own thing.
Yeah, I once put a Mr. Beast video, I downloaded it, put it into my timeline on my editing software, and I cut it up. So it'll be like, you know, every time there's a new cut or transition, I cut it up, and then anytime there was text on screen, I added those things just to see what one of his videos would look like in my timeline. And then I realized, like, there's no way I would like to do a formula like that. There's so much going on, but it was really interesting for me to just break down essentially what that is. And I did that early with, like, because I love Casey Neistat's videos. He's by far my favorite YouTuber. I get bored with 99% of people on YouTube. Like, I don't watch I'm one of those terrible people that just doesn't watch whole videos. But Casey's, I'll watch from start to finish, and then watch the next video, and then watch, like, again, I rewatch old videos. There's something about his formula, his style, and everything he does that just ropes me in. And I wanted to make videos just like that. So I used to sit down and I'd write down, you know, from 10 to 20 seconds he does this, and then he does that, and then, okay, what is that video? What's the framework of that video look like? And you sort of learn from that.
That's incredibly valuable. It's so hard to create something from scratch, and also if you do that, you have to have all of the learnings yourself.
Yeah, and you may be way off, right?
Yeah.
Something you may think is really cool may not be.
Yeah, and the easiest way, I think, to have success is to do what successful other people have done, you know, because you've gone through, how many videos have you made?
600
videos of 600 videos of lessons that someone can look at your most recent video, look at the structure, look at the style, and they can immediately jump 600 lessons in experience just by doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've made 90 something videos. I've got 3.5K subs. I want to grow to YouTube. I do want it to be around Thailand. I live in Thailand, but I want it to be about where I am. Freedom, travel. Not necessarily like, you know, I'm here in Bangkok. Here's how much this iced coffee and pad thai costs, but life is beautiful here, life is beautiful in different places, here's what it's like. I know that I want to share messages about personal development, but also about business, the marketing things that I do to make money online and grow businesses, so that other people can do that as well. And I want to grow my YouTube, and subsequently off the back of that, you know, I want to grow my business, and my business will grow through helping other people. But looking at the YouTube specifically, what advice would you give me? Moving forward, we're leaving this conversation today. What should I do to go and blow up and grow my YouTube?
How closely do you look at your analytics?
I look at my click-through rate.
Yeah.
I look at my watch rate after 30 seconds, and then I look at my watch rate all the way through. I will see certain jumps and spikes. I've never looked in and saw, oh, there's a little spike here, a little jump here. What happened then? I've never done that. But I'll look and say, right, so where does this video fall on the 1 to 10? I'll say click-through rate, cool. If it's anything like below 5, that sucks. The bangers maybe start at like 12, 13%, gradually work down to like 7, 8, 9%. I'm averaging around at 30 seconds, it will range from like 58 to 67%. And then I'm getting all the way through the very end, it'll be like 18 to 24%.
What is the overall percentage?
Overall percentage will range from like 26 to 34%.
Yeah. So I would say you want to try and get that up to around 50.
Wow, 50%, okay, wow.
Yeah. If I'm below 50, I've done something's not right.
Wow, okay.
Mine are between 50 and 60% retention.
The total what?
Total.
Wow.
Total retention. And analyze patterns. So like the analytics are like the most amazing tool. Look at videos and go look at that retention thing. Where did I lose people? If it's a gradual fall off, it just means people weren't engaged enough and they just lost interest at certain different points. If there's a drop, you've done something wrong. But find out what it is. Like, look for patterns in your videos. Okay, was I talking too long? Not talking long enough? Was it one static shot? Should I have moved around? Should I have and experiment with all that? Different camera angles, different overlays. Like, you know, one shot talking can get boring. And analyze what it is that that works, what doesn't. I analyze everything down to, I said, like the color of the t-shirt I wear in the thumbnail, which is why the majority of mine, you'll see I'm wearing white in my thumbnails, is because that just seems to pop off better. Like there's a pattern of a better click-through on that, as long as it works with the background. Sometimes I have to wear black because it works better with the background, but just these little patterns, like darker thumbnails, seem to work better for me. And just analyzing patterns between different videos and really just use that. It's the most important tool, is your analytics, and figure out where you can be better. And also just ask people, ask friends, like, you know, what did you think of this video? Did you lose interest? Did you pick up your phone? Where? Why? And really focus on, when we say like make great videos, make videos that people watch to the end, or, you know, you do well. You will always have drop off. It'll never be dead flat. But like if I show you the one I was talking about, the car exhaust one, that's like, that was like 66%. It's dropped down now. It's like, but that's like pretty much dead flat. And there's actually like a spike up towards the end of some people that didn't watch the whole thing, but they sort of skipped through because they wanted to see that reward at the end. So that tells me that the structure of the story in that video was perfect.
Wow, love it. And what do you think of my color grading in my recent video?
I don't like it, but that's, you know, I wanted to get to know you better before I start shitting on your videos, but I like a little bit of color grading, but everyone has their own taste for color grading. I like cinematic color grading, and it's like a little bit warmer and the shadows are a little bit pulled up, but it's a very specific look and people can go too far with it. I don't like that. I don't like things that look like an Instagram filter or something like that, especially if you're showing off a place. Like show it for how it is. If anything, I would boost the colors. Like, you know, we got this beautiful blue sky behind us. This is a great day. This is awesome weather. We can show that off.
Yeah.
But if the sky is like a weird color, it's like, yeah, the sky doesn't look like that. That's my taste. And I don't know what your audience thinks, or, you know, who your audience is, but that's something I would experiment with. Try it without the color grade and try it with the color grade, and do it a few times and see what the feedback is in your analytics.
Coming out of this now, how many videos a week is me slacking?
Well, it depends. Is this your job? Is this your main income source, or is this what you want it to be?
It is a very important component of my income source.
You're building a business, right? If you're not putting at least 5 full days a week, like you should be putting 50 hours a week into your business, right?
Yeah.
At least. If I'm starting a business, where I owned a cafe when I was young. It was my first job after school. I took over a cafe. We did 7-day weeks. There was no days off because we couldn't afford to pay anyone to do it. So like, you have to show up to work every day. If there's, you know, if you have any job, you're working at least 40 hours a week, right? If you're doing less than that for yourself, like, how can you expect to succeed?
Yeah. I'm realizing, building this business, 50, 60 hours a week, YouTube's an important part of that, so it needs to take up a large chunk of that.
And it should be, the audience that you will gain from YouTube is always a potential person, and probably easier to grab than a paid advertisement, right? I don't know what the click-through rate is on an ad that you do, but like, surely people that trust you on YouTube, they should be the first people that you target because they already trust you.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I'm realizing as well is that YouTube is the place where I can share as much value as possible for free. You know, the exchange of money for value will only take place if there is an upsized return of value in exchange for that money. And I have to give so much value for free, for therefore investing in any more value would have to make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because if it's the value that I'm giving for free, what would the value be if I paid? You know, and so I always need to over deliver in that sense. And YouTube is my opportunity that, even though I am going to be building back-end revenue opportunities and businesses and value adds, this is my opportunity to give value for free to the people who are exchanging their time and energy watching my videos. And I think something we mentioned earlier is how we can neglect numbers. We can become desensitized to it. You know, I remember when I started and I had like 12 subscribers and I hated publishing and it felt so insecure, and we had like 60 videos. And I was like, oh, once I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to feel so amazing. It's going to feel so fantastic. And, you know, now, you know, I'll put out a video and it might get, you know, 300-400 views and I'll feel like shit. But that's 300 or 400 people who've invested the time to sit and watch your video, to take it in, enjoy it, maybe leave a comment. And if there was 400 people in a room where we are right now, it would be heaving, it'd be bustling, and we become completely desensitized to that. And I've had some videos that, you know, they've done 40,000 views. And, you know, that's like a small stadium filled with people that have spent their time to sit and exchange time they'll never get back to watch the content that I've created. And I realize I can become desensitized to that. And I'm becoming more and more grateful for even if 100, 200 people watch my videos.
It's important to remember where you came from too. early version of you would have killed for 400 views on a video. And just look at it as like constant progress. As long as you're making generally like more than you did this time last year, then you're doing better. Right? And just constantly try and improve, whether it's month on month, year on year, whatever it is, but just be constantly improving and don't get, it's so easy to say don't get caught up in the numbers. I still get caught up in the numbers. But what you need to look at is, okay, is the channel building? Am I building? Am I improving? Yes, then that's all that matters. There's no finish line anyway. I used to want 50K, then you get to 50K, it's like, okay, now I want 100K. As soon as I pass 100K, I'll probably be like, well, now I want 200K. There's all, the goalpost is always moving. So try not to get caught up in the destination because it's always going to be like that.
Dude, this has been incredibly valuable. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable information. And I'm going to be taking so much of this on board and putting out action in this. So I'm sure I'm going to see a huge result. I'm sure everybody who's watched this has got a huge amount of value. So thank you so much for sharing your time and appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was fun questions. I enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
My tire's like falling in.
So we can relocate.
No, it's alright, I'll make the most of it.